Paints. If you're into Gunpla, if you're into model kits in general, maybe you want to paint your model, of course. But there are so many different kinds of paints out there. It's confusing. Well, it's not really confusing at all, really. I have a bunch of different paints here, so we'll zoom in and we'll talk about it for a bit. Okay, so the first type of paint, acrylic. Acrylics are water-based. They are easy to thin. You can just use water. Some people use alcohol or whatever. They dry pretty fast, but they don't cure totally after, some people say, a week. But I suggest that you wait like two to 3 days for the paint to be totally dry. A paint that is dry to the touch is not necessarily a paint that is fully cured. Keep that in mind. This is a Tamiya paint. This brand is actually pretty popular, and a lot of people use acrylics. I don't, because acrylics are weak. They can be scratched very easily, even though they dry fast and you can just use water to clean it or to thin the paint. It's still not strong enough for me, so I don't use these, but these are very popular. Next type of paint, enamels. This is Model Master paint, and these two here are testers. These can be thinned with the proper thinner. You can get your hands on testers thinner, that will work just fine. You can also thin these paints with lighter fluid. It will work for hand brushing, small details, but I really don't recommend that you thin your enamels with lighter fluid if you plan on airbrushing these paints. The lighter fluid it's gonna dry very fast, and it's gonna clog the airbrush. It's a pain in the butt. Don't do that. These will give you a very nice gloss and hard finish. They're a bit tricky to use, I gotta admit, but if you want to paint small details, these are really nice. And if you want to use them in your hairbrush, that's also an option. These dry relatively fast. They will be dry to the touch after a few hours. They're not going to be totally cured after a few days. These take a long time to dry, but when they're dry, they are hard and they have a very nice gloss finish. People will tell you that enamels don't go on top of acrylics, and that lacquers, the next type of paint that we'll talk about, does not go on top of enamels. That is true to some extent, because if you have the Mr. Super Clear top coat, which I will show you right now, this one right here, if you use this, this is lacquer based. This is a spray, this is a top coat, but this is basically a paint. But this is lacquer based, and people tell you that you do not put lacquer on top of enamels and on top of acrylic. Well, the truth is, if you use enamel paints, if you wait long enough for the paint here to be fully cured, it will become really hard, because enamels are really hard once they're fully cured. You can spray this on top of this paint. Go very gentle with it. Don't spray like a very thick coat, very thin coat at first with this, and believe me, it will work. I've done this many times, and I've sprayed this lacquer top coat on top of these enamels, and it works. You just have to wait for these to be fully cured. The last type of paint, lacquers. Lacquers are without a doubt my favorites. These dry very fast, they cure very fast. They are amazing. They are good for hand brushing. I don't know why people don't recommend these for hand brushing, but I've used these for hand brushing many times, and these have saved my ass many times, even with hand brushing. These apparently were designed or made or whatever for hair brushing, and it's true that they work really good with hairbrushing. If you use an airbrush, I really recommend these. One thing I don't really like about these is that they smell. They have a really strong smell, and if you've never smelled lacquer paints, they smell exactly the same as those big markers that you use to write on a whiteboard at school or at work. They smell exactly like that, except a lot stronger. And if you use the proper thinner, this is Mr. Color, this stuff smells quite strong. You need this for hair brushing and even hand brushing. So if you use lacquer paints, I have a couple of fans running if you're inside, and if you can do it outside, I can't because of the freaking snow out there. But if you can do it outside, do it. The smell is really strong and the fumes are bad for you. But they will give you the best results. Just that they're strong, they cure really fast, and they're just amazing. These are my personal favorites. So there you go. That was my little tutorial on all the different kinds of paints that you can get. So if that was helpful to you, just tell me. If you have any questions, if I've missed anything, which I'm sure I have, just tell me in the comments. Just ask me your questions and I will answer them as quick as I can. So there you go. If you liked it, like, subscribe. Well, you know the drill. I'll see you next time.